Let's start with first news. Conor has officially given his prediction for the highly anticipated showdown between Islam and Ian Garry, and he is firmly backing the Irishman to pull off a huge upset. According to Conor, Garry has all the necessary tools to make this fight extremely difficult for Islam. He believes Garry's length, movement, and ability to maintain distance could allow him to stay safe while avoiding Islam's strongest weapons. Conor also pointed out that Islam has shown moments where the action can slow down, particularly when opponents are able to prevent him from establishing his preferred grappling exchanges. While Islam has looked increasingly comfortable at welterweight, Conor believes there are still questions that need to be answered in the division. Despite recognizing the danger Islam presents, Conor made it clear that he is picking Garry to win. In fact, he went even further by predicting a spectacular finish. Conor believes Garry could catch Islam with a perfect high kick across the head and score a knockout victory. He clearly has tremendous confidence in Garry's striking ability and believes the Irishman has the skills necessary to shock the MMA world. At the same time, Conor expects this to be a great contest. He suggested that the fight could go deep into the later rounds, describing it as a matchup he is genuinely looking forward to watching. The prediction is certainly bold, especially considering the experience and championship pedigree Islam brings into the fight. But Conor believes Garry has the tools, the size, and the striking ability to make his prediction a reality. For now, all eyes are on this massive welterweight clash, with Conor confidently calling for an Irish victory and a devastating head kick KO. Move on to another news. At the UFC 330 press conference, Ian Garry was speaking very highly of Islam, praising everything he has accomplished throughout his career. But during the exchange, Islam suddenly told him to shut up. Garry was explaining how impressive Islam has been, talking about his championship success and the way he has represented his country. He praised Islam for becoming one of the best fighters in the world and said that anyone should be proud of what he has accomplished. Garry also acknowledged Islam's incredible winning streak and the fact that he continues to chase more championships and bigger goals. He made it clear that he respects Islam's achievements and considers him one of the best fighters on the planet. However, Islam's response created an unexpected moment. While Garry was giving him compliments, Islam simply told him, "Shut up. Be nice, brother." The moment immediately caught people's attention, but there was actually a funny explanation behind it. After the press conference, Islam clarified that he wasn't trying to disrespect Garry. He explained that he genuinely couldn't hear what Garry was saying and didn't understand what was being said at the time. Islam explained, "Bro, honestly, I don't hear nothing there, and I don't understand what he's saying. That's why." Then Khabib got involved and delivered a hilarious response. He joked that he had paid for their English classes for an entire year, but apparently they learned nothing. The whole situation turned into a light-hearted moment between the fighters. Garry was clearly showing respect toward Islam, while Islam's shut-up comments sounded much more aggressive than it actually was. With UFC 330 approaching, moments like this are adding even more personality to the highly anticipated matchup. Despite the brief misunderstanding, there is clearly mutual respect between the two fighters, making their upcoming clash even more interesting. Move on to another news. Diego Lopes has officially confirmed that he will be moving up to the lightweight division, and this could mark a major new chapter in his UFC career. Lopes is coming off an impressive knockout victory over Steve Garcia at the White House, adding another statement win to his record. However, despite his recent success, his path toward another featherweight title opportunity has become increasingly difficult. The biggest issue is his history with the current featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Lopes has already faced Volkanovski twice and came up short on both occasions. Because of those two losses, a third title fight appears highly unlikely while Volkanovski remains on top of the division. Instead of waiting around at featherweight, Lopes has decided to make a big move and test himself at 155 pounds. The decision could open up several exciting possibilities for him. Lightweight is one of the UFC's deepest and most competitive divisions, filled with dangerous strikers, elite wrestlers, and fighters capable of ending a fight at any moment. Speaking to Ag Fight, Lopes revealed that discussions about his next opponent are already well underway. He explained that the negotiations are at an advanced stage and both sides are hoping to finalize everything very soon. Lopes also revealed that he would like to make his lightweight debut in November at Madison Square Garden. He believes that date would be ideal because it gives him enough time to properly prepare for the move to a heavier division. The weight adjustment will be one of the most important parts of this transition. Moving from featherweight to lightweight means Lopes will no longer have to make the extremely demanding 145-pound limit. That could allow him to feel stronger, healthier, and more comfortable inside the octagon. He also made it clear that he wants to use the additional time to gradually adapt his body to fighting at 155 pounds rather than rushing into the division. This move could be a very smart decision for Lopes. Instead of remaining stuck behind the same title picture at featherweight, he now has the opportunity to build a new path at lightweight. After his knockout win over Garcia, the momentum is already there. If Lopes can carry that power and confidence into the lightweight division, his arrival at 155 could become a major problem for the rest of the division. His next opponent is expected to be finalized soon, with November at Mish currently the target for his highly anticipated lightweight debut. Move on to another news. Islam has opened up about the fighters who are motivating him to work harder as he continues his journey in the welterweight division. According to Islam, one of the biggest sources of motivation comes from the quality of opponents waiting for him in the rankings. He specifically pointed to Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shavkat Rakhmonov as dangerous contenders who have earned the right to compete for the title. Islam explained that when he looks at the current welterweight rankings, he sees a long list of fighters who can present real challenges. Unlike his previous situation at lightweight, where he felt there were fewer opponents who truly motivated him, the welterweight division has completely changed that. He said that fighters like Prates, Morales, and Shavkat make him train even harder because they are legitimate contenders with strong records and the skills necessary to compete at the highest level. This is a major difference from what Islam experienced toward the end of his lightweight run. After accomplishing so much at 155 pounds, he eventually reached a point where he looked at the rankings and struggled to find another opponent who genuinely excited him. Islam explained that when he finished with the lightweight division, he didn't see many fighters he felt he needed to beat or opponents he believed clearly deserved a title opportunity. But when he moved up to welterweight, everything changed. Islam described the 170-pound division as the most dangerous weight class in the UFC right now. Instead of running out of challenges, he suddenly found himself surrounded by bigger, stronger fighters with impressive records and serious championship ambitions. That new environment appears to be exactly what Islam wanted. He also acknowledged that the physical differences at welterweight make these matchups particularly interesting. The fighters are naturally bigger and stronger, which creates a completely different challenge compared to lightweight. For Islam, that challenge is a major source of motivation. Having dangerous contenders constantly pushing toward the title forces him to maintain a high level of preparation and continue improving every time he enters the gym. With names like Prates, Morales, and Shavkat waiting in the rankings, Islam knows that his path at welterweight will not be easy. But instead of avoiding those challenges, he appears to be embracing them. These contenders are giving Islam exactly what he was looking for: new opponents, new problems to solve, and a reason to push himself harder than ever. Move on to another news. Khamzat has seemingly teased his UF's return, and his latest social media post has fans wondering when we could see him back inside the octagon. As many fans know, Khamzat is currently waiting for a potential rematch with Sean Strickland. He has made it clear that this is the fight he wants next, and he appears to be focused on getting back into competition as soon as possible. The rematch has been a major talking point, especially because of how much is at stake for both fighters. Khamzat is looking to continue his rise toward another championship opportunity, while Strickland would have another chance to prove himself against one of the most dangerous contenders in the division. Now, Khamzat has given fans another reason to believe that his UFC return could be getting closer. The fighter recently posted a video of himself on his Instagram story, accompanied by a very short but interesting message. The caption simply said, "We'll be back soon." That message immediately caught the attention of Ma fans. While Khamzat did not reveal an exact date, opponent, or event, the wording suggests that he is expecting to return to action in the near future, after spending time away from competition. Even a simple update like this can create plenty of excitement among his supporters. Khamzat has built a reputation as one of the most physically dangerous fighters in the UFC. His aggressive style, elite wrestling, and ability to overwhelm opponents have made him one of the most talked about contenders in the sport. That is exactly why fans are so interested in finding out who will stand across from him when he finally returns. For now, the rematch with Strickland remains the fight Khamzat has publicly been targeting. However, until the UFC officially announces the matchup, nothing is guaranteed. The most important takeaway from his latest post is that Khamzat appears to be preparing for his next chapter inside the octagon. His message may have been short, but it was enough to send the MMA community into a frenzy. If Khamzat really is returning soon, the welterweight division could be in for another major shakeup. For now, fans will have to wait for the official announcement, but one thing is becoming increasingly clear: Khamzat is ready to come back, and his next UFC appearance could be one of the most anticipated returns in the division. Move on to another news. Garry and Islam went back and forth during the UFC 330 press conference, and the atmosphere inside the room became incredibly heated. As the press conference came to an end, it was clear that Garry wasn't exactly winning over the crowd. In fact, the audience appeared to be heavily against him, with constant booing and shouting making it difficult to hear what he was saying. Instead of backing down, Garry seemed to embrace the hostility. He repeatedly played along with the crowd and suggested that all the boos would eventually turn into cheers once he walked away with the victory. However, the crowd didn't appear convinced. One of the most interesting moments happened when a reporter asked Islam about Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap, and what he might think of Islam's career today. The question also focused on what Abdulmanap might have wanted Islam to improve on. Islam began answering the question, talking about his continued success and his future goals. He made it clear that he still wants to keep winning championships and continue building on his incredible winning streak. But while Islam was speaking, Garry suddenly interrupted and began praising him. Garry pointed out everything Islam has accomplished in the sport. He talked about how Islam has carried the flag for his country, become a champion, and established himself as one of the best fighters in the world. Garry's comments were surprisingly respectful, especially considering the tension surrounding their upcoming matchup. But Islam wasn't interested in letting Garry take over the conversation. In a moment that immediately grabbed everyone's attention, Islam simply told Garry, "Shut up." The response created an awkward but entertaining moment inside the press conference. Despite the heated exchanges and the obvious tension between the two fighters, Garry continued to show respect for Islam's accomplishments. He made it clear that regardless of what happens inside the octagon, he recognizes how much Islam has achieved throughout his career. At the same time, Islam remains focused on the task ahead. He is looking to continue his incredible run, collect another major victory, and prove himself once again against a dangerous opponent. The UFC 330 buildup is clearly getting more intense by the day. With Garry embracing the boos and Islam refusing to let him interrupt, the rivalry is already producing plenty of memorable moments before the fight even begins. Move on to another news. Islam has sent a strong warning to Garry ahead of their highly anticipated showdown, making it clear that he believes he is operating on a completely different level. Islam explained that he respects Garry as the #1 contender and acknowledged that he is a great fighter with impressive skills. However, Islam believes his own overall skill set gives him a major advantage. He stated that he has all the skills needed to compete at the highest level, while also continuing to improve every day. Even as champion, Islam says he remains fully focused on training and becoming better. Islam also spoke about his motivation in the welterweight division. According to him, the current contenders at 170 pounds are giving him a reason to train harder every single day. He explained that these fighters may not all be former champions, but they are extremely strong and capable of giving him a difficult fight. That is exactly why Islam refuses to become comfortable even while holding the championship. His mindset is simple: being champion does not mean he can relax. Islam also mentioned his desire to continue building his winning streak and potentially create a record that will be extremely difficult for anyone else to match. But despite those long-term ambitions, he made it clear that his immediate focus is Saturday night. And then came the biggest warning. Islam confidently predicted that he will finish Garry within 3 rounds. That statement shows just how much confidence the champion has heading into this matchup. He clearly respects Garry's abilities, but at the same time, Islam believes his wrestling, grappling, striking, experience, and overall skill set will eventually overwhelm the challenger. Garry has been preparing for the biggest fight of his career, but Islam appears completely unfazed by the challenge. With the champion promising a finish inside 3 rounds and Garry looking to shock the MMA world, the tension surrounding this fight is reaching another level. Islam's message is clear. Respect for Garry is there, but when the fight begins, he believes he will prove that he is simply on a different level.